Just want to tell you, if I die, I'm sorry, but I kind of ventured out into this place kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, look up there, it's like just a little lookout post, and then yeah, I'm gonna keep on exploring it though. Found a little fish, but yeah, if I die, yeah, just tell them that I was taking pictures and they'll probably find me somewhere. So yeah. All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope that you really enjoyed watching this camera and how it performs out in the field. I know it wasn't too long, but I hope that it gave you a little bit of a taste of what this camera really does. So again, I do want to go into a few of just my favorites about the camera, right? The first thing that I love about this camera is the mechanicalness of this camera. This camera doesn't need a battery, all right? Just a little bit of lore of this camera. It was made in the 50s into the early 60s, I believe. So this one is made in 1957 per the serial number, and this one is a true black Canon P. They have the silver Canon P and they have the black Canon P. The black ones are usually a little bit more rare and they cost a little bit more, but they made these cameras from the mid 50s to, I believe, the early 60s, and then they kind of stopped. These cameras are fully mechanical, just like what I said. They never ever falter, and they've never broken on me, right? There's a few wear and tear items on the top, just with the usage of the camera and all that stuff. It kind of goes a little bit to the left and all that when you use it a lot with the paint on the black, but in my opinion, it makes it look that much freaking cooler, man. I feel like an old school kind of like journalist when I use this camera, especially when I put on the glasses. Like, it just fits perfectly, right? Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things that's amazing about this camera, right? Because even with my Canon AE1 and all that stuff, when I had it before I sold it for this camera, I caught myself spending so much money on batteries and kind of just, you know, not trusting that camera, because if it got too cold outside, the battery wouldn't work, etc. I've shot this camera in freezing temperatures in Detroit, Michigan, and this camera has always looked up with me, you know, with a smile, and, you know, just kept cranking. Another thing I really love about this camera is the mechanical shutter speed goes up to 1,000. So if you look at the top, you can see all the shutter speeds and all that stuff. It goes up to 1,000, so it's a really fast camera when it comes to shutter speed. I know a lot of mechanical cameras only go up to 500. This one has a bulb mode as well, so if you want to do long exposures with it, you can. It's very, I don't even know the word. It's just very versatile for what it offers. This camera is definitely amazing for the price point. I believe you can pick one of these up with a 50mm 1.4 and kind of a nice camera body for around like $300 to $500 USD. I got this one back in 2021 for around $325 on eBay and all that. It took a couple weeks to ship, and it got here, and it was in perfect condition. This lens right here, man, oh my gosh, it uses a Leica M screw mount. So it uses Leica M lenses from this era, and it's a screw mount. So these lenses are amazing. I love these right here. Like this one right here is the 50mm 1.4. These aren't weather sealed or anything like that, but man, people call this one the Japanese Summilux, right? So they call this one like that legendary name because the freaking images I got from this, even when I adapt this to my Fuji X Pro 3, the images I get are just so sharp from like end to end, even wide open. Like I have, you know, some cheap, you know, TT Artisan lenses, of course, and like I have Fuji made lenses, and this one outshines it sometimes. So and then of course the aesthetic of the camera. Just look, guys, like I know I keep talking about it, but man, this thing is absolutely just gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It's an old school rangefinder. It's a true rangefinder, so it actually works and all that stuff. If I could show you guys, I'll show you guys on a different video, but this one, it actually works. So you can see the parallax and all that stuff, and it hasn't molded or hasn't like done anything, you know, that's bad. So I can still look through it, and the camera does a really, really, really good job at just surviving the test of time. Like this thing is so like bulky, you know what I mean? I've dropped this thing multiple times, and it, you know, didn't break, you know. So yeah, it's so bulky that it has a metal shutter. So, you know, it's not like some piece of like film paper or anything like that, or like a leaf shutter or anything like that. Like this thing has a stainless steel shutter. So that shows how, you know, this camera is supposed to be used. It's supposed to be abused. It's supposed to be used and abused, right? So this thing is freaking awesome. In order to get to the back, I do have film in here right now, so I'm not going to open up the back, but it's kind of just like the Leicas. You'll take this off, and you'll just unscrew the bottom right there, and then it's a little button right here you press, and then it should open up and do all the loading features. Kind of moving into the cons of the camera, that's a good place to start. This camera took me a little while to get comfortable with like loading, unloading, and all that, because again, it's fully mechanical, so there's a lot of mechanical things that you need to know about this camera. I was just being a freaking stupid man, and I didn't look at the owner's manual. And there's owner's manuals of these cameras, so you can just go on Reddit, look it up, or look up Canon P owner's manual, and it'll teach you how to do it in a very old school, very good style, right? So after I looked at that, I was fine. But when I first got it, I was like, oh yeah, I shoot film and all that stuff, like I'll be okay. But I was not okay. You need to look at the owner's manual if you get one of these cameras, because I've ruined a couple rolls of film trying to, you know, manhandle the freaking dials up here and doing all this stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the only con I could think of, man. The pictures that you guys are seeing right now throughout the video, these pictures are awesome. They're some of my favorite pictures I've ever made with any camera in my life, and I've been shooting for a long time. This camera you know, I feel like the reason I made the pictures so well in the first place is because this camera is, you know, it's always there for me, right? Like I never once have ever felt like this camera would fail. I've been on vacation and so many, you know, trips and all that stuff with this camera, and it has never failed on me, right? And this has been my only, like I would go to, you know, a foreign country as this my own, you know, with this is my only camera. You know what I mean? I've done that multiple times, and I just didn't think twice about it. You know what I mean? Because this camera has showed me that, hey, like I will always shoot if I have some film inside of me, and if, you know, you're pointing it at something, right? Like this thing is absolutely amazing. I would recommend it to, you know, all you guys out there that, you know, maybe don't have the money for, you know, a Leica or something like that, and you're trying to get into, you know, the rangefinder market, but you don't know what camera to get a Canon P. They have a bunch of different iterations of this camera. They have a Canon net. version. I mean, that it's not related to the Canon P, but they have a different, whole fleet of rangefinder cameras in Canon. But in my opinion, the Canon P outshines all those other cameras because this doesn't need a battery. It's absolutely amazing. There's a lot of different variants of this camera, but the base Canon P in black will be able to not only get you what you need, with photos, but it'll get you what you need with the confidence of being able to take this thing into a war zone and coming out with a bunch of photos that'll live forever. That's pretty much everything I want to say about the camera, man. I hope that you guys got a chance to look at those photos. I'm going to throw a bunch more for the outro because this is like my love letter to this camera. This camera's awesome and it has served me well. I don't think that I will ever sell this camera. Even if it goes up in price a lot, I believe that this camera will be by my side forever, even if the day comes that I do buy a Leica and all that. And this is not a poor man's Leica. I know a lot of people call these type of cameras poor man's Leicas and all that stuff. This camera is far from that. It has a personality and a gosh, I don't even know the word, but it has a personality that is just second to none. It's different. It's a different camera and it shouldn't be compared to any other rangefinder camera. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who owns this camera would say that. This camera's awesome and it lives in a realm of its own. Even when I rented an M6 for a couple months and all that, when I just picked this camera up, it just feels right. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it and all that stuff. Please leave a like and all that stuff. If you guys want to send this video to a friend who is thinking about getting in a film or getting into the rangefinder game and they want to get a rangefinder camera, send them this video, man. I'm pretty sure that this video will point them in the right direction and help them out. So again, leave some comments below if you have this camera and if I missed anything and all that stuff. I would be more than happy to be educated about the more quirks and features that this camera has. But in my opinion, this camera's awesome, right? So I appreciate you guys for coming out. Enjoy the pictures as we kind of leave and all that. But I appreciate you guys, man. You guys have been amazing. You guys have changed my life over the past couple weeks. So I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.